Hey, so I've got my February 2015 CraftShack box, and this one is probably one of the most impressive that I've gotten so far. So basically they sent 6 beers plus 3 more. So you get 9 beers for 40 bucks. You guys might argue that that's kind of a high price, but to be honest, if you were to walk into a store, any of your craft beer stores, and pick up this many beers, you're probably not going to pick up the onesies, twosies, and most likely you'll end up getting, well, like this, a variety of things. So it kind of depends on what your tastes are, but we'll go down the line and I'll show you what I got. So I'm going to start off over here. Got the Nevada IPA. That's got a score of 91. And again, I'm not a big fan of IPAs, and Sierra Nevada is one of the folks that I know I don't like their IPAs. This one will probably get drank by somebody who likes IPAs, but I might actually review it for you guys. You'll stick around on the video to see if I actually do. Then there's Bell's Winter White, cool because this is a tall can. This one has a rating of 85. It's a Belgian ale style, so I'm pretty excited about that. This is the type of beer that I really like. Then we've got the Red Betty IPA from Central City. That has a score of 98. I'm probably going to try this just because of how highly it's rated and see how much I like it. Then next is the Victory Anniversary 19 IPA. It's actually a session IPA, so I know I will probably like this depending on how heavy they are. Victory in the past when I've had their beers, I haven't had too crazy hop forward stuff, so I might thoroughly enjoy this one. Then next is the Ska Hibernal Vinifera Stout. So this one is apparently made with malbec grapes. So I don't know. I really have no idea how this is going to be. This is going to be a very interesting beer. Next is the Anderson Valley Blood Orange Ghost, and I have actually, I'm almost positive I had this before. At a tap tasting, and if I remember correctly, it was an outstanding beer, especially for the Ghost style. So as you guys can see, it's pouring a really copper, not really copper, but light amber color. A little bit cloudy, and for the pour that I gave, probably the perfect amount I had, especially coming from a can. Definitely can smell that blood orange and tartness. This one is kettle soured, which if you're on a lighter beer, it actually does a pretty good job. It gives that kind of like sweet tart flavor if combined correctly. It says it's brewed with sea salt and coriander. Very interesting. It says, unlike traditional versions of this style, ours features liberal additions of blood oranges during fermentation, which you can definitely smell in there. And it's got a tangy citrus notes that complement the champagne-like flavors, creating a complex and sessionable ale perfect for any occasion. So let's see. Whew. Yep. I have had this before. So, super tart forward. Perfectly fine with me, especially because of how light of a beer it is. So it's very flavor forward, kind of that tartness and kind of maltiness of the beer, because it's really forward. You're not getting finished off with a bunch of bitterness or weirdness going on, which is nice, especially for a sour. But if you're not a fan of things that are sour tart, you're not going to like this, just because it hits you so hard in the front that for you probably don't even want to have another session of it anymore. But honestly, oh, this is outstanding. I wish I could have more of this. So the 3 bonus cans that I got, on the bottom, as you can see, it says 3 bonus cans. So I have 1 bottle over here. So the other is the Anderson Valley Winter Solstice Seasonal Ale. That'll be great, especially this is in Anderson Valley, so I've got 2 from them, which is great, especially one being a winter solstice, being February. They're probably just offloading these, but I actually really like winter style ales all year round. Then they have the Sockeye Red IPA. Literally know nothing about this, so I will give it a try, even though I'm not a fan of IPAs, just to see what they're like. And then lastly, very excited for this espresso stout. It's from Hitachino Nest. It says it's a Japanese dark ale brewed with coffee beans. Actually says it's from Kyuchi Brewery, and it's 7.5 ABV. So this is actually from Japan, which again, this is awesome. This is something that you might never find anywhere else. I'm excited for this because stouts, coffee, all goodness for me. Even though it's pretty hot out here, I will still drink them regardless. So hands down, I'm gonna say, without even trying these beers, just getting these two for sure, the box was totally worth my money. I don't know any other service that is going to send you this much variety, and honestly, rare beers. They're not sending you a bunch of crap beers. I would argue these are the ones they're probably offloading. Maybe this one, since it's one of the winter ales, but Session IPA goes all the time. Hop Hunter will go all the time. This being rated so high has to be flying off the shelves. The Vanilla Stout, who knows, people might not have liked it, so they might have been offloading that, but really you're getting a 50-50 mix, and in the end, I mean, I'm very impressed with this lineup that they sent, and I'm going to thoroughly enjoy drinking all of these, as you guys are about to see. Alright, so here I've got the Hitachino Espresso Stout. It's a Japanese dark ale brewed with coffee. This is definitely my style, so let's see how it is. Alright, I did a hard pour. I had to wait and poured it up to here, but got a pretty decent head. Definitely has a lot of coffee smell to it and roasted malt. But it looks pretty good, nice and dark, so let's see how it tastes. Alright, so right off the bat I'm getting kind of some chocolate and real malty flavors. And then it finishes up with kind of the roasted coffee flavor that you are getting because it's brewed with coffee. It's actually a very well done beer. It has a little bit too much of a bite, but it kind of gets mellowed out by the coffee that's brewed with it. But in the end, I mean, it's a pretty enjoyable beer. It's right up my alley, and of course I wouldn't have had access to this, so I definitely would go back to this if I saw it on the shelf. Alright, so I'm going to review the Ska Brewing Stout, and this is my friend Brendan. He's got a YouTube channel, it's below in the comments. He's going to review the IPA because, as I've said multiple times, I can't stand IPAs, so here's a trusted source. He's going to do his best to describe what an IPA is like.
Okay, I just drink for effect, so it has the most alcohol per volume. This is a Sockeye Red IPA from Anchorage, Alaska, the Midnight Sun Brewing Company. 5.7% alcohol by volume, standard for an IPA. Taste-wise, not bad at first, has a little bit of a malty backbone like you'd expect from an IPA, but then it kind of has a disappointingly bitter finish, you know, a little too much aftertaste for my taste. So, not my favorite beer, and it's from Alaska, so Sarah Palin probably drinks it too, and not many people like her, so you probably don't want to drink this beer. And that's my honest opinion of Midnight Sun Brewing Company. It's called Midnight Sun because in Alaska you can see the sun at midnight in the summer. Not a lot of people know that, so I would avoid Sockeye Red next time you're out looking for a good IPA, but cheers.
So that's I wouldn't drink it again, right?
I would call that I wouldn't pay to drink it again. If someone's hands you one of these and you just want to get drunk, you know, do a little Samuel L. Jackson, drink my beer, it'll get you drunk, then I would do it, but that's about it.
Alright.
Alright, thank you, Scott.
So I've got the stout here. It's got the malbec grapes in it, so I thought it was going to be horrific. It's 8%, but and honestly it's got that roasted malt flavor to it, but you definitely can smell it starting off. but the finish is nice and clean, not disgusting and leaving you with the gross, gritty flavor that sometimes you get from tea roasted. But anyways, it's got a good rating, 94. So honestly, I'm right there with it. Even though it sounds weird, I would say go ahead and pick it up.
All right, Brennan here again for IPA beers. I'm drinking a Sierra Nevada IPA Hop Hunter. It's got 6.2 booze per volume. It's one of my favorite IPAs and one of my favorite brands, actually. I would compare it to a Stone IPA if you're trying to compare it to something. As far as this goes, to the Sockeye Red that we drank earlier from Alaska, much better. So worth the money, and definitely a trusted brand from Sierra Nevada. I don't really have any jokes prepared for you this time, but cheers.
So I'm drinking the Anderson Valley Winter Solstice Seasonal Ale. This one's available from, I think it's like November to January. It's super raisiny. Like, you smell it, it smells like a raisin.
Yeah.
If you drink it, it tastes like a liquid raisin. And that's pretty much how I would describe it.
Yeah.
Very raisiny. It says it has notes of toffee and other stuff like that. I could say you get that from the raisin flavor, but it really tastes like a total raisin. I don't know how to describe it other than that. It has a little bit of spices in it, but nothing significant. Honestly, this is a pass for me because I don't like drinking raisins. I might as well just drink wine that has more alcohol in it.
All right, good afternoon. Me and my friend Scott are down here in Las Vegas, right off the strip, drinking some beers we got in the box, and I'm drinking the Victory Anniversary 19 IPA from Downingtown, Pennsylvania, my hometown. And I gotta say, I'm a little disappointed, not in the beer, but in the alcohol. It's only 4.5 alcohol per volume, but it is a great summer beer. It's got a lot of citrus, hoppy overtones, pretty much exactly what the definition reads on the paper it comes with. A hint of malt for some balance, and some dryness for a finish. So if you like the IPA tastes but aren't really in it for the alcohol, I would go with Victory Anniversary 19 Session IPA. Not that bad.
So I'm drinking the Winter White Ale from Bell's, and I wouldn't even argue that it's a winter ale. It's actually a Belgian, and being that it's probably about 100 degrees outside right now in Vegas,
It's a dry heat.
right? This is a great summer beer, despite it being a winter beer. What's cool though is there's no spices added to this. They actually have the yeast and the way that it was brewed to have that spice effect, which is cool because, again, I can enjoy it in summer and not have to worry about it tasting like a winter warmer ale. But in the end, it's actually a really great beer. Honestly, it's a true Belgian, nice and cloudy, but fruity and enjoyable.
It's a cloudy day.
Alright, so last but not least, I've got the Red Bell Northwest IPA. It is a 80 IBU and 6.5% alcohol. As you guys know, I'm not a huge fan of IPAs, and the fact this is a Northwest IPA might mean that it's doomed for me to like, but we will see. I have heard a lot of good things about the Red Betty, so we'll see. Alright, so an extreme amount of head. I mean, this was pretty much impossible to pour. Just kept almost wanting to foam over, and then the foam never dies down. The bubbles size is just massive. So just highly carbonated, and despite how easy I poured it. But I mean, definitely cloudy. Got that unfiltered look to it as well. So let's see how it tastes. Alright, so here's the Red Betty IPA. A whole lot of citrus on the nose with a lot of hops coming forward as well. A whole bunch of hop bitterness right on the front end, as well as a high level of carbonation. Really, other than bitterness, it doesn't have a lot of flavor to it. Getting a little bit of orange peel, but that's about it. Slight maltiness. I mean, at 6%, it should have a high level of maltiness, but I think that they just put so much hops in here that it's overpowering. So overall, I'm giving this a pass. I mean, it's not a IPA so terrible I wouldn't drink, but it has few redeeming characteristics of why you want to drink a IPA, unless you just want the absolute bitterness. The hops don't really bring a lot of flavor, other than, again, the bitter hop flavor that's typical that you're going to get, but you're not really getting any true either citrus flavors or piney flavors or anything like that. It's just straight bitterness. So this one is, I mean, average at best for an IPA. Something that if somebody poured for me, it's not so gross that I would just throw it out. But something not so enjoyable that I'd say, oh, I might try that again. So that's it. Overall, this month's box was pretty awesome. With this being pretty much one of the only beers that I didn't really like. And I got some outstanding beers in the whole pile of things that they gave to me, and larger sizes of beer, which were all phenomenal as well. So thank you guys very much for watching. If you guys have any other beer boxes you want me to review or any cool stuff that you want me to go check out, please leave that in the comments below. I'm compiling a list of tons of things as my boxes have started to wean off, where I'm doing about 3 boxes consistently now. So just leave some comments below and I'll make sure to get back to you. Thanks.